I would like to call upon our a senior bureaucrat and special guest from the state of Maharashtra, Mr. S.V.R. Srinivas, Principal Secretary, Department of Housing, Government of Maharashtra. Sir, over to you. We would like to have your initial address here.
Very good morning to all of you, and uh, thank you very much for organizing this workshop to Kerala government. And I've been in this sector for the last almost 2 decades, urban and infrastructure sector. And this certain things I think they are called for discussion in this context, in the context of discussion on sustainable and smart cities. There are some of the points I would like to highlight. One is we are actually lucky to have a representative from the Kingdom of Netherlands. Netherlands is one of the most sustainable and smart countries, rather. And if you see Amsterdam or Hague or many other places, they all of them have this angle to them. But certain things I would like to mention, which are very important for this, for calling ourselves or any city smart and sustainable. Of course, we have that famous Brundtland committee report, and also North or South, where things are very clearly shown as to what is smart city and what is sustainable development, right? I mean, we should be able to sort of take care of the various needs of the present without compromising the future generations' needs. So, taking that into context, a smart city perhaps should have some of these following points, and which are relevant to India. One most important is public transport. So very few cities in India or towns in India can boast of a proper, robust public transport system, right? That's very, very crucial for us. And that is missing in big time, except Mumbai, for example, and to some extent now Delhi and Bangalore is coming up, where metro is coming up. So these are the certain of the things that you have to deal with as a public transport is concerned. Second is affordable housing. No city can be smart or sustainable if these two things are not taken care of. Because otherwise, cities in the world over are the engines of economic growth. The Chief Secretary of Kerala had rightly mentioned about 60% or 70% of population does live in rural areas, but in states like Kerala, Maharashtra, or West Tamil Nadu, and very big and large number of states, nearly about, if you include floating population, about 50% of the population is urban areas. So it's very important to take care of this public transport as well as affordable housing. So they become very, very crucial. And most importantly, the innovative methods of financing these public infrastructure. Because now, for example, one of the most innovative things that has happened in the housing sector, in the urban sector, is happened about almost 25 years back. What we call it TDR, transfer of development rights, which gives developers the incentives to construct in return for subsidized public housing. But that is passé now. It is no longer in fact, the instrument has blunted so much. There is no demand for transfer DRCs, development right certificates, even in cities like Pune. So what we have to look at is not only innovative things, but innovative methods of financing the urban infrastructure methods. So innovative methods can also include, for instance, attracting the even funds like PEs or CCDs, CCPS. In fact, recently the government of India had a workshop where we asked for even FDI should be allowed, because see, India is a country of capital shortage, so capital has to be brought in from somewhere, and if capital has to come, the systems and institutions have to be very robust. No business will, no investment will come if this system is full of risks, and especially policy risk. That is a very big risk in India, as we have seen in the last couple of decades. So this is the third point I wanted to mention. So we have to go for out of the box solutions. And third point I would like to mention, fourth point I would like to mention is this proper end-to-end solid waste management. It is not just taking a broom and cleaning it. End-to-end, right from generation right up to the reuse. The big three R's that we talk about. That becomes very, very crucial. because any city worth its salt must have proper solid waste management. How many cities in India can boast of having a waste to energy plant or waste to reuse and recycle plants? Very few, hardly less than 5%, if I may say so, or less than 2% maybe. So you can't have a sustainable development. You can have a smart development, but that smartness in a very narrow sense. But sustainable development, one, unless you take care of the basic things like solid waste management. So solid waste management had to be end to end. Even in city like Mumbai, actually the secondary treatment is very low of the liquid waste. Sewerage is very low. It is less than 25 to 30%. So how we are polluting the even the Arabian Sea, right, which extends right up to Kerala. It is a lesson to be immediately learnt and implemented. And then the, the task of the policy makers like all of us and practitioners like all of us is much more complex because we are in a brownfield setting and where things are already done. So it is like operating doing an operation on running doing a repair of a running vehicle or a running patient. You are trying to do operation, you cannot put him on the bed, so that becomes much more complex to the extent. So stakeholder involvement becomes finally the most important point, taking everybody on board, because otherwise most of the solutions that we have seen go away once the officer get transferred or the government changes. So taking everybody into confidence and taking everybody, onboarding everybody meaning all the major stakeholders through the proper consultative process is very crucial. I think such in that context the, the workshops like this, I'm sure will facilitate the proper and in-depth stakeholder involvement and come out with innovative solutions which will be long-lasting. The time has come, and finally, I have last point to add. The time has come because I have been in this sector for the last 2 decades. Time has come to use technology very deeply and very horizontally and very very deeply for positive things. Like for example, I'll just give an example and close. Uh, what I have seen is this: if you now we are talking about the driverless cars and solar cars, right? So the impact that it will have on sustainable development is tremendous. I mean, the parking norms will undergo drastic change. The road space will be optimized, and the time of the building norms, the building bylaws will have to go under drastic regulations, drastic changes for the better. So adoption of technology and keeping the legal system in sync with the changing technology becomes very crucial. So as a policy practitioners, as a policy makers and practitioners of this sector, I think we should crucially deal with the technology as it comes and encourage it positively. At the same time, make the the relevant regulatory and institutional changes so that both institutions and legal framework on the one hand and technology on the other go in sync. So I would like to stop here because there is, I think, the time is short and we have another workshop panel discussion. And I would like to thank all of you and wish you, Mr. Balkiran, all the very best for this workshop. And thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. SVR Srinivas, the Principal Secretary, Housing Department, Government of Maharashtra. Thank you for taking us through the various solution and perception you have put forward through your rich experience.